How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Yes, finally a super over. I didn't care who wins, who loses, but it's been 4 years and we've not had one. Delhi Capitals have prevailed in another manic, mad game at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Rajasthan Royals, Nitish Rana's innings, Jaiswal's innings, Starc defending 9 of the last over, then all that happened in the super over. This is going to be a fun show. Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Cheteshwar Pujara, Ian Bishop, Matt Roller. Just madness. Vish, I'm so sorry you're here for the last 2 days. Because you should be at the ground calling these games, making it more exciting for us.
Yeah, right.
Okay, show me some excitement. What has that game been decided on? What is the biggest story of the day? Is it Rajasthan's inability to chase 189? Is it the panic in the super over? Puji, where would you start?
I think the depth in their batting lineup, they don't have enough depth, and that's the reason they are not going hard. I thought they should have chased it down easily. I mean, they didn't lose too many wickets, but if they had lost another wicket or two, then they didn't have enough batters to follow up, and that's why their approach is a bit cautious, where they can go a little harder, and they couldn't do it. But credit goes to the way Delhi bowled today, and the last over of Mitchell Starc. He's the man of the match today.
Yeah, that's the real hero story. I mean, yes, we'll come to super over, Bish, but Mitch Starc has made this possible, is it fair to say, with that last over and maybe even the penultimate one when he got Nitish Rana?
I thought the 2 overs, because his first 2 overs went for 20, and his last 2, you can't exclude the Nitish Rana over.
Oh, yeah.
He got some reverse swing, and again, we talked about it before the start of the game tonight, the value of reverse swing, the saliva on the ball that Mohit Sharma and others have been talking about. Brilliant, the execution of the super over, outstanding. But Rajasthan also have to look back at 69 runs scored between over 7 to 15. They slowed tremendously, so those 2 areas.
It's so weird, isn't it? 188 for 4, yes, maybe 5 if you count Samson, but that wicket was of the last ball of the innings, a run out. So they could have effectively been 3 batters dismissed or 4 batters dismissed, not chasing 189. Last game against RCB as well.
Yeah, they've lost 8 wickets in their last 40 overs and have won neither game, which feels old school, really, if anything. And you think of RR as this, advanced team who clearly care about analytics and clearly care about data, but their batting looks like an old school template, and it feels like that's coming in results at the moment. But I think both guys are right to highlight the incredible last over in particular, but also 18th from Starc. I think to land 5 out of 6 Yorkers in the last over and miss the other one not by much. Not concede a boundary off that last over in those circumstances. I think you have to give a lot of praise to Delhi as much as you can criticise Rajasthan.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let's think moments. And that last over, when it came down to 9 to win, so Starc has conceded 8, a boundaryless last over. You've been at the receiving end of Mitchell Starc Yorkers? You have, right?
Yeah.
Or not enough Yorkers, I would think, even though it's a different format.
Yeah, I have. But with the red ball, it's slightly different. Sure. And also it swings into the right-handers. So it is slightly easier if you're ready for it. But yeah, in a white ball game, it's very hard to get away with it. Like when you're looking to score a boundary, you don't have too many options as a batter, and he was executing it properly. And the only way you can get a boundary from it is to play a scoop shot.
He's not an easy bowler to play the scoop off, is it fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. And if you look at the batters who were facing him, even their strength wasn't to play that scoop shot. So if your strength is not there, then you don't try it in the last over.
Skill of Mitch Starc though, and the clarity in what he has to bowl. Trent Boult bowled 6 Yorkers in that game and sort of kept the pressure on in Delhi itself. But should we should admire the fact that Starc has landed 6 Yorkers under significant pressure and what it takes to do that?
100%. The accountant can value that there as well, because those of us who sort of look at the game in a bigger picture talk about how difficult the guy sitting at home in his living room saying, bowl a Yorker, bowl 6 Yorkers, bowl 12 Yorkers, they're not that easy to bowl. So what we saw tonight was the best of Mitchell Starc in those last 2 overs. What Rajasthan can probably say they're unlucky with is that Sanju Samson got a side stream because they were flying in the power play. They got 60 or 63, I think, in the power play, and then that side stream. So that was unfortunate for them that he could not continue. But the excitement at the back, I'm still going Nitish Rana at 3. I'm glad Shane Watson said it on commentary there. He suggests, so I don't feel too bad now. Chetty is right, but I don't feel I'm talking absolute garbage given that Shane Watson suggested he should bat at 3 as well.
You're saying 3 in the main game.
Yes.
He didn't even come out in the super over.
And Shane wanted him in the super over as well.
It's also, I mean, at the end of a game like this, I guess it's fair to first analyze, forget the 40 overs. Now it's about getting the points in a 2-over shootout. So tactics and decisions under pressure in quick time, even if you've planned for it, I don't think you can plan in advance for a super over because you're looking at who's hot on that day, what the game has been like. So was Parag, Hetmeyer and Jaiswal, after the innings Rana's played, the right call for you for the super over?
No, I don't think so. I think Nitish should have been there in those 3. I don't know whether he should have started. I would want Jaiswal to start because the way he bats against Mitchell Starc, his record has been phenomenal. I think if you look at even any format, even the way he started, I know it was the super over and he was just trying to execute his Yorkers, but there is a psychological advantage. I feel that Yashasvi, if he had faced few balls, then Starc could have had some pressure.
Who would you have gone with if looking at how the game played today? Because I think they've also not necessarily got their choice of batters right. Do you feel that way in the super over?
I like Jaiswal at the top there, but I'm biased towards Nitish Rana as well. So
you would have wanted Rana if you were making that call?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Rana's silky skill to come in there, not necessarily raw power.
Jaiswal doesn't play lap as much. Rana does play. I mean, it's hard enough to play Starc, but I would think surely they go Rana. I mean, even if you go Jaiswal, Hetmeyer to start with, Jurel has at least been in the heat of the moment. Parag was a strange one. Sometimes super overs are decided on one ball, isn't it?
Yeah, and one decision, I suppose, with that run out as well off the penultimate ball. There was a ball left for Rajasthan that went unused, and you look back at that and think, oh, if only they could have had one extra ball and all that sort of thing. And it is, as you say, it's tiny margins and tiny decisions.
Did that sort of carry over? Because they didn't run 2 of the penultimate ball. When they could have risked it, and looking at how the throw went, they would have probably got it. And then they ran of both the free hit delivery and then the subsequent delivery which ended the first over of the super over contest. So that is just what, pressure?
I think it's purely pressure. And they thought that they needed at least about 15 to 17 runs in that super over and they were trying too hard to get there.
No. My mind has gone elsewhere already.
Where's your mind? I'll go there.
Tristan Stubbs batting higher up the order in these contests, man. He's a victim of his own success. He's batting down there because there aren't other people apart from Ashutosh that could come in and do that job. But I can see I can see value where he bats to finish the game, but I can see even more value if he bats higher up. He will score big runs at a quick pace for you. So Matt actually made a good point to me privately. And you don't mind if I mention
By all means, Bish.
He said eventually, over the next few years, Tristan will move up.
Yeah.
And while I might be impatient, I'll have to wait to see that happen.
He is possibly at least in terms of potential and skill closer to Nicholas Puran than he is to Tim David. I don't mean any disrespect to Tim.
No.
I'm talking about roles.
The difference, Tim has issues with wrist spin, big issues. Tristan doesn't have those. He's a very good player of spin both sides of the wicket, down the ground and 360 behind. He will lap sweep, he'll reverse sweep, and he plays pace well.
Test number 3 at times, isn't he?
Absolutely. I think he's proven his class across formats already, and I can sense why Bish is impatient to want him to get up the order, because you look at someone facing that many balls in their first innings and think, how much damage could you inflict if you were facing 40 balls, 50 balls? A bit like Joss Buttler back in the day, where he started his career in the IPL batting at 5 and 6, and then when he got the chance to open, could suddenly impact an entire 120 balls rather than just the final phase. So I can definitely see it happening. Potentially, if you think of what Delhi might be like in a year or two's time, Faf du Plessis is 40. He's obviously incredibly fit, but you can see a world where maybe they phase him out at some point and Stubbs moves up to 3 or 4.
But looking at the current Delhi's batting lineup, I don't think he should be batting at number 3 because you have players like Karun Nair who can't bat at number 6 or 7 because they are not. I'm not saying he's not a good player at 6 or 7, but I think his role at number 3 suits him better. He is more of a timer of a cricket ball than trying to hit the ball too hard. So I think
they have to go about an auction where they allow for Stubbs at 3 and pick batters.
But that was my point. I said he's a victim of his own success, like Puran, because Puran could have done that finishing job better than anyone else in the team. He was batting down there. Yeah. But you go to the auction, you get someone else to bat there, and you put Puran up there. Yeah. You put Stubbs up there when you can get someone to support Ashutosh.
What I like about Stubbs is that he wasn't necessarily spoken of much at the auction when we said 10 crore retention. We said, yeah, okay, good, he had a great season. But it's almost assumed that he will continue to have a good season, like Fraser McGurk, and that hasn't happened. And Stubbs is a little more mature and has a little more time, but he had a tough time of it at MI when he was younger. DC seemed to have got him at the right time. Played a good innings today, and how about just the 6 to seal it? Because Sandeep Sharma is not the easiest bowler to hit when he's using that, into the pitch delivery.
Yeah, but I think for Sandeep to defend 10, it wasn't good enough. I think if I don't know, was it 11 or 12? But whatever the score was, it wasn't good.
Yeah. 12 to win?
12 to win.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good enough. And when, as a bowler, when you're under pressure on that small boundary of the Kotla Stadium, it doesn't help. And Rahul, the way he started, then there wasn't much left in the game either.
Was he the right choice as bowler after the man who bowled England to victory in a World Cup final super over was there as an option? Should Jofra have bowled that over?
Hey?
Go on then. He's
no.
no part of the world before his.
I'm not going to try to be give hindsight wisdom. Sandeep bowled that wonderful over, was a closeout against CSK earlier this season.
Yeah,
he did.
CSK.
So on current form, Sandeep was the guy because Jofra's last over today went for 16. At earlier points this season, he didn't even bowl the final over when Sandeep was given the choice of that over and managed to close it out. So I think the right choice was made
in that case,
on form.
Can I ask then, Bish, was it then the right choice to start with 2 slower bouncers into the pitch? Because I think of Sandeep Sharma, and I think he's a guy that can nail his Yorkers in the way that Mitch Starc did. And I think that the way that RR were going to defend that score was take a wicket and potentially bowl Delhi out. I don't think there was a way in which they were going to... I didn't see that as a wicket-taking option, bowling 2 slower balls into the pitch.
Good question.
The first one was pulled for a couple, right?
Yeah.
And I think he got the line of the second. Credit to KL, was it KL Rahul that cut it? He came inside. He came inside.
Point. Yeah.
And sometimes we have to be able to give a batter credit and say, I read this situation well. Of course, I am a Yorker man. And given what we saw from Mitch Starc, in hindsight, he could have gone up there.
Yeah.
So...
He has bowled very good Yorkers at the end, Sandeep. So did he get that choice wrong?
I thought the first one was right because first one he bowled a slow bouncer which Kale wasn't expecting, but the second one, the follow-up delivery could have been a Yorker. Okay. Because it felt like he was a little more predictable.
Okay, I want to take lots of comments. They are there. But let's talk about a couple of things which are covered here. I'll try and summarize a lot of these comments because I know 2 players are mentioned. One is Jaiswal, one is Rana. Jaiswal. It's strange that he bats for a large percentage of the innings, but doesn't necessarily have the impact, dare I say, of when Josh Butler batted the same amount of the innings, or even if you take an Indian equivalent in form, Nicholas Puran's at the peak of his powers. But you know where I'm getting at here. That's 2 games now where he's looked better than the other batters. But he still ends up with, what is it today?
Well, it was 51 off 37, but I think you made an interesting point about the high proportion of dots. It was about 42, 43% dots, which is 16 out of 37.
137 strike rate is concerning when you've...
And when he's hit quite a few boundaries as well. So I suppose the phase that you're looking at in particular is when the field restrictions lift. Can he get off strike a bit more, and can he also still access those boundary options when there are 5 men out?
26 of 15 power play, 25-22 after the power play. And there are times we went very critical of great players, even Kohli and Rohit and whatnot.
I was coming to that because whenever Virat batted at the strike rate of 130, 140, he ended up putting up a decent total, but it didn't help the team, and that's why he has come up with a new game plan now, where his strike rate is almost about 150 now. And when if you are batting top of the order, you should be having a strike rate of 150 nowadays in T20 format.
How many dot balls did you say?
16.
Mark Boucher brought that up actually when we were sitting over there in the lounge, and he said he faces too many dot balls. If he could learn anything from the current Kohli is reducing those dot balls, because he hits boundaries. We know he's got 6 hitting ability and he's supposed to be dangerous white ball player and all that. But where do you sense the game still needs sharpening from Jaiswal, the T20 batter, from what you're seeing this season?
I think when you're looking for too many boundary options, you forget that you can still rotate the strike or still try and play few shots which may or may not result in a boundary, but you still get ones and twos in those balls.
Yeah.
Because if you are just looking for fours all the time, as a bowler, you can be smart enough and end up bowling few more dot balls. Whereas if you are just trying to play normally, trying to go, say, over cover when spinners are bowling, try and go over mid wicket, try and go over the bowler's head, and even if those balls doesn't turn into boundary balls, you still get ones and twos, and that's when you change the strike rate. I mean, you are not facing too many dot balls.
The one other thing I would say is just comparing it to the Delhi innings, when they also obviously had quite a long partnership that didn't go particularly quickly. I think 63 or 57 coming out of the partnership. Maybe, just to sort of play devil's advocate, maybe there was enough in the pitch that it wasn't as easy tonight to score, to rotate as fluently, to score boundaries when the field was spread. But
yeah, come on, was it hard?
I don't think so. For Yashasvi, someone like Yashasvi, it wasn't hard. I wouldn't say so.
Stay in your lane. That's what Tom Moody tells me. You've got all that. Yeah.
To Chetty's point and to Matt's point, I remember having this discussion, and I think I probably would have brought it up with you with West Indian batters, in that, and I don't want to call the 2 former West Indian captains names, but 2 power players.
Which ones?
I'm not calling their names, Raunak. You missed that. Very good at that. What they say is that for some West Indian batters, being able to transition from looking for a boundary to a ball that is not there and tucking it for one is a skill that has to be developed, because, and I think with Jaiswal, that's a skill he has to be. You can see when he sets up for his boundary shot, everything is stored and then released, and even sometimes when it's not there, he mishits it. There is no transition from, I want to hit this as far as possible, to, it's not there, let me use my hands and go. If he sets himself to use his hands, he can do it. But it looks to me, when he has to transition from looking for a boundary to something else, that touch is not there yet. He's still very young. He's very young. He is going to learn it.
Yeah.
But for now, it's a learning period.
Yeah, I remember something completely unrelated, but I remember something similar discussed on Gale and Pollard at one point, but anyway, completely unrelated. Let's try and pick some more talking points in this. Right, let's go. Why not back Archer in this form of the super over? You've heard from the panel on that. Now, I like that Ujjwal has actually gone back to the first innings about Thikshana and Hasaranga. We brought it up at half-time that there are many moments that lead to the eventual result in a T20 game, and how hard it potentially was when Kuldeep and Aksar to a large degree were bowling, that they conceded perhaps 15-20 more because of those 2 overs of spin. I think 16 and 17 were those overs?
Yeah, 19 and 16. I was thinking back to the drop.
35 runs.
I was thinking back to the drop as well. Parag dropped Stubbs. I mean, there were drops on both sides. It was one of those games where if any catch was taken, but yeah, Parag's now dropped a couple, which you wouldn't associate with him. I think of him as a very safe pair of hands and a good fielder, but he dropped Kohli in the last game and now Stubbs tonight, and tonight was very costly.
35 runs, those 2 spinners. Did that just give Delhi a little bit of momentum? And they finished strongly. Aksar got runs. Till then, it was 8 and over game.
It did, and I also felt that they could have used Tushar's last over instead of Thikshana's, because if you are bowling him on, was it 18th or 19th over, I think it's too late for him to bowl those Yorkers which he was trying. So I thought the spinners, the Rajasthan spinners, they haven't been bowling well, and that's the fact. I feel that they know their bowling really well, but I still feel that there should be someone who should be telling them that the roles which they play, because there are times where, as a bowler, if you are not clear with what is expected out of you, and there are times where you end up bowling in the death overs, as a spinner, you're not prepared for it. And if someone can tell them that this is what is expected, and because I don't think, I have never seen a spinner trying to bowl a Yorker in death overs, and Thikshna was trying to do that. So I don't know whether he has been told to do that or whether it's his go-to delivery, but that didn't seem right to me.
They seem to have given him that role this season, though, because it's not the first time this season that he's bowled the 18th over. You would have those numbers.
It was 17th today.
Somewhere down there.
Yeah.
So they seem to have been giving him a closing sort of role, but I don't want that to mask the fact that Aksa was better tonight with the ball.
Excellent, yeah.
Than he has been at any other time this season. So from Delhi's point of view, he'll be hoping that he's coming in to form. I thought he could have bowled in the over in the power play, even though Jaiswal was there. They gave
Vipraj Nigam, who could also and could have probably squeezed an over out, but that's for another day. Yeah.
And this again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this again comes back to the lack of all-round options for me in the Rajasthan team. They didn't activate the impact sub today at all. Presumably Shivam Dubey might have come in at 7 if they'd lost wickets earlier, but their sixth bowler was Parag, who seems to be somewhat reluctant bowler. Whereas you compare that to Delhi, who could avoid, they didn't use Vipraj hardly. I think only a single over because they felt it wasn't his night, he wasn't suited, and it feels like RR always have that issue where they always look a man short.
Yeah, that's the point echoed here. You've said it before, where it's in the impact sub era, they're still playing with 6 batters, 5 bowlers, 6 batters, 5 bowlers. Okay, tough. Stubbs, always one of my top 3 retentions, but my God, Mitch Starc. Starc showed why he's a champion bowler. Player of the match, Starc. I'll tell you in a minute if that's confirmed. Starc's player of the match. Happy with that, everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Mitch Starc is player of the match today. What else do we have? A crazy match, says Kushal. Both teams made so many mistakes. My God. Is that a fair way of summing up today? Because Delhi weren't short of their own mistakes. We spoke of the slow partnership between Porel and KL. We spoke of Fraser McGurk.
I like the chaos, though. I mean, we saw chaos last night.
Yeah, chaos was awesome.
Chetty made a point earlier today. You said that Delhi were about 20 short of where they could have been, and that was right. I thought last night Punjab were about 70 short, and they still managed to win the game. And we're seeing like CSK and Punjab play and catches going down. So we're not seeing a lot of those perfect games of cricket. Abhishek was dropped a few times when he got at 100. But the chaos, I think, created good entertainment. But as former players or journalists, we want to see those perfect games. That's under high pressure in this T20 thing.
I'm not complaining. I love these games.
I love it as well.
Close,
Love it.
Too many people seek perfection.
Yes.
Don't want it.
Yes.
Don't close games. And we got 2 back to back. RR overthink a lot, says Cristiano Ronaldo. Nitish was their best batter. Didn't send him in the super over. Sadhan says very bad decisions. Varun Anger says, a game is great when Cricinfo's win probability has wild swings. 2 games back to back.
I'm sorry.
Puneet says he's only here for Matt Roller. There's one of them. Families again. Ramakrishna says, Kotla and runouts make the difference again. Yeah, it's so weird. So many runouts. I mean, even going back to the runout of the free hit, right? Even Parag just does that. What is it with Delhi and the runouts? Akshar's captaincy. Shall we speak about great fields for Mitch Starc? Don't remember the last time 8-9 runs were defended. Akshar, the captain, how would you rate him?
I think he's doing a great job, and the field placement, I was quite impressed because there was a mid-wicket for Hetmeyer at one point, and mid-wicket was up actually. He wasn't back, and they were quite clear with the angles which they wanted to set, because I thought deep square leg was in front. It was in between deep mid-wicket and deep square leg, and the deep mid-wicket was at the 30-yard circle. So they had a clear angles for Hetmeyer. They knew where to place the fielders, and Akshar is doing a great job at that.
Some of you were asking about updates on Kuldeep's injury. Well, I hope it's nothing too serious, but it was understandable he went off. What they did get is Samir Rizvi on the field, who perhaps saved 5. But there are so many moments like this. I'm glad that somebody's brought this up. Madan Krishna says, man, the Thikshana catch. Last ball of the innings, batting first. Thikshana puts that down. 1 run. 1 run. Game of fine margins. So weird how we're seeing stuff like that go down. Oh, man. Okay. What else? Okay, there are some of you having slightly harsh criticisms. I'll let that go for now. We'll come back today. Parag batting 3, Rana 4, not a good tactical call. Rana has to bat 3. That's Bish school of thought as well. How many more games before DC benches JFM? You know what? I'll save that for the preview to the next Delhi game. And someone's schooling me saying Raunak Jofra bowled that super over in 2019. We're in 2025. Move on. I know. I'm asking the question because some people may not be as well informed as you. Forgot who said it, but anyway. All right. Thank you. Always kind. Always lots of love for me. Anyway. Thank you. That is pretty much it. I know there was a lot more that we could possibly discuss. I hope I've not missed anything major from today's talking points.
Should we just quickly ask Bish about his point about Nitish batting 3? I know he's mentioned it a little bit, but I know it's something he feels quite strongly about.
Today they sent 2 left-handers.
They did, yeah.
They heard your pre-show and how they were obsessed with left and right hand. But you said
because Akshar was bowling, so I thought.
Yeah, and I had a quick look, and Bish is spot on that in the last 3 and a bit now IPL seasons, Nitish's numbers are significantly better at number 3, and I know it's something you feel quite strongly about, that he needs to be there rather than at 4 or even 6 in the last game.
Yeah, that he was wasted at 6 there, and I think for a couple of reasons. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying Riyan Parag's best season came at number 4.
Yes.
Right. Nitish's game against pace has improved, playing the pull shot and all of that, and he plays spin very well, and he has more experience batting at that 3 position.
Yeah.
His knock against Ashwin in the earlier this season sort of epitomized that. So while his domestic form hasn't been great, I prefer, even if it's 2 left-handers, and that's why I said the quality of the 2 same-handedness, if it outweighs the variety of a left-right combination, for me, would stand the test.
If I could follow up just on that, it just seems like whoever they put in a position that suits them, it ends up putting someone in a position that doesn't suit them. And Jurel, I think there's a really high ceiling for Dhruv Jurel, but to have him play the finisher's role or the 5-6 role right now, I don't know if it sits right with you at this stage of his career.
I don't think so, and I've said that he should be batting up the order. He has a lot of potential.
There we go.
But then if you have Nitish at number 3, then you can't have Jurel at number 4, and then Riyan Parag can't bat at number 5.
It just
so
seems
they don't have the
messy.
right combination. Yeah,
It seems
the
messy.
combination.
But that was the problem with Riyan Parag for most of his IPL career up until
That he
last
batted
year. That
5-6,
they
correct.
had this kid trying to finish games. So now you're putting Dhruv Jurel, who did it the first time we saw him. He nearly took Russell and KKR apart. But again, that's a resource thing now. That's hard to solve by the resources you have.
And when you put all of that together, Hetmeyer always faces less than 10 balls. So that's the problem, because they take a few balls to get in. They're not sure of the depth of their batting. Shubham Dubey is not even used today. And oh man. Okay. Delhi Capitals have won. And they're the first team to double digits. They've got 10 points. It's time for our rapid fire review. I think they'll be very relieved with this win. KP's thrilled to be back from Maldives and seen a win after that loss. Okay, here we go. Rapid fire review. Lovely. Bish, you first. Was it the wrong move from Rajasthan to not send Nitish Rana for the super over?
I think so. I would have sent Nitish there for sure.
Okay.
If he was fit. We don't know. He got hit on the foot, so I'm assuming he was fit.
All right. Puji, 77 in the last 5 overs of Delhi's innings while batting. Are Akshar and Stubbs the silent heroes of this Delhi win?
They are, definitely.
Back to you, Bish. Scorecard doesn't show Yorkers, but how good was Starc's execution?
Top class, as good as we've seen for a while. A couple of overs of Yorkers. It gladdens my heart.
All yours, Matt. Ineffectiveness of spin, lack of batting depth, or tactical errors. What's hurting Rajasthan Royals more?
They're all interlinked. That's the beauty or the horror of the whole thing. That's what makes them the most frustrating team to watch in the IPL.
genuinely feel so bad trying to analyze them. It's like they make your job so hard. Okay. All of you can weigh in on this. Akshar, Stubbs, Starc, or Rana. Who do you think should have been player of the match? Well, if they would have won, maybe Rana, but yeah.
Starc for me. Starc.
Definitely Mitchell Starc.
Starc it is. And finally, 5 wins in 6, 2 heists in the bag. Delhi back on course for a top 4 finish, or are there still concerns?
Top 4, but enough concerns that I'm not locking them top 2 just yet.
Top 4 for sure.
Yeah, top 4. I want to see Dushman to Chamira.
Dushmanta Chamira, Pish, you're taking me into many places. I'm not going now. I need to go home and watch Champions League. Right, thank you very much to Matt Roller. Cheteshwar Pujara, wonderful welcome back. Bish, I'm going to miss you, but you're going to be back one more day down the line.
I'll consider it.
Please enjoy. You're going to meet the Punjab Kings after that win yesterday. Please give my best to all to Yuzvendra Chahal and everyone else.
I'm looking forward to the day that you travel with me to those games.
Say that again loudly, Bish.
I'm looking forward to the day that you travel with me to those games.
What do we have left? Just finish it off. What's next? Some points table or something. Let's see it. Points table to confirm. Bish is a great man. And this is a great season. It's been really given a touch of spice over the last 2 days. Thank God to KKR, Punjab, Delhi, as well as Rajasthan. So, well done to the new management, new look Delhi Capitals under Akshar Patel. As we approach the crucial halfway point of the league phase, they are the first team to double digits. They claim top spot for now. Rajasthan Royals are in tricky territory. They've now made it 4 points in 7. And when Mumbai and Hyderabad play tomorrow, only one of those two teams will join them there. Massive game at the Wankhede coming up, for which we look forward to your company. Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Will be with you. Matt Roller will not be with us. He is going to the game at the Wankhede. Bish is off on his caravan on the world feed. Puji, you're my man tomorrow.
Yep.
And he'll have a couple of batters with him as well. It's going to be a batting run fest tomorrow, surely. See you for SRHMI. Good night.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.